What's up, guys? My name is SnyperSama, but you can call me Sniper. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I wanted to try something different. There's a lot of talk about what is meta, what's the best, what's not, da-da-da-da, and everything like that surrounding the community, and truth be told, fair, valid. There was a lot of updates that came with Title Update 4. Flare is significantly better now. Flare, at least in my opinion, is almost as good as having a level 1 burst slot active. You've got the different weapons that got buffs, kind of like Lance. You got the different guard changes from all the different weapons. But the one that I've been most interested in, ironically enough, is Foray. Now, the reason Foray is typically been forgotten about is because poison and paralysis only lasted a certain amount of time when you were fighting. And because of that, you weren't able to keep monsters down long enough to actually take advantage of it. When the game first came out, me and my buddies, we would hit probably 3 to 4 paralysis procs on a regular Arcfeld with lower tier gear. Whereas now, because the monsters have such high resistances, such high health pools, we're lucky to get 2, maybe 3, instead of 3 to 4, maybe even 5, depending on if all of us running it. The thing about it, though, is that I've noticed that monsters are getting hit by poison significantly more. The reason for that, I'm not quite sure. I don't know if it's because there were new updates. I don't know if maybe because no one uses poison, they just didn't adjust it. I don't know. I'm not too sure. However, what I did end up finding that was a little interesting is that Foray, because of the buffs that it received, is actually significantly better now. And it's actually pretty good. You can see here that Foray states, you increase your attack power and your affinity against large monsters affected by poison or paralysis. Typically, at least for my brain, I never thought that this was worth noting, and that's because paralysis, the monster's only paralyzed for so long, meaning you don't get to take advantage of the attack boost or the affinity boost for very long before it becomes just a skill that doesn't exist. However, poison. Poison is really nice because poison will sit there and tick over time and just keep applying damage. And when you do it with something like Hunting Horn, it gets even better. And the reason for that is because there is a lot of weapons that they have different attacks with motion values. These motion values both dictate how much part damage they take, how much raw damage a part takes, how much stun is applied, so on and so forth. But on top of that, certain weapons will trigger different effects. For example, with Flare, before the Title Update 4 buffs, when you were in your Demon Mode Flurry on Dual Blades, for example, if you did your Demon, the Demon Rush one, or Blade Dance one, whatever it is, I can't remember exactly what it's called. I know what button it is, but I can't remember the name of it. When you do that, it wouldn't apply towards Flare. Meaning, one of the most efficient ways to play Dual Blades couldn't even take advantage of the skill. On Charge Blade, for example, the Buzzsaw during Savage Axe mode did not count towards Flare, meaning one of the most efficient ways to play Savage Axe Charge Blade wasn't able to take advantage of the skill. The thing with it, though, is that Hunting Horn, especially with Foray and Poison, one of the novelties of Hunting Horn is the Echo Bubbles. You can place them down throughout a arena where you are fighting a monster, and it will provide extra damage as well as whatever the effect is. You can see my Echo Bubble on this is defense and elemental resistance up. What you may not know is that Echo Bubbles also will do the damage of whatever element the weapon is, meaning poison. So not only do we get additional raw attack, but we get affinity as well, but all of our Echo Bubbles are going to allow us to do more damage and apply more poison. So let's go ahead and get into it. Sorry I yapped so long for the intro. My bad. We have our Onyx Chorus. Now, this is another god roll. This was my perfect roll, and ironically enough, I was really, really mad because I had a Poison Hunting Horn before when I was initially testing Foray, and I was like, you know what, let's just level it up and rare a Gogma already in it. I got this on my second roll, and I was like, okay, I feel like I kind of have to make a video about it now because I felt really lucky. This doesn't have the greatest songs. We have status attack up, we have divine protection, we have all ailments negated, echo away poison, and then an offset melody. Overall, it's not the best, but when you are playing Monster Hunter, you need to remember that sometimes it's not about the buffs. But you also can use another hunting horn to give you better buffs. For example, here's an attack up large, Resounding Galahad. We can sit there and get this, take the 3 minutes, I think it's 3.5 minutes actually, that we would have the attack up large, and then swap back over to it to keep the buff going. Okay, so I'm going to preface this with, this is a build around Foray that takes advantage of other hunting horns that are better melody effects, better strength hunting horns, and we're going to make them work for our Foray poison build. Okay, next up, we got some pretty easy stuff. We have the Dahad Shard Helm Gamma. This is from Arch-Tempered Jin Dahad. We have our wonderful Uth Duna Gamma Graves from Arch-Tempered Uth Duna, making a return. And that's because who can beat these decoration slots? Not to mention Quick Sheath and Agitator, come on. And then we have probably one of the harder parts of the build, Transcended set of Ebony gear. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos over this past week, you may know that I am doing a new, I guess, series of min-maxed RNG god rolls, okay? And unfortunately, those are taking a little bit more time, and then it's part of the reason we're going back to the 3-a-week upload, is because it is harder to make those happen, because I need to roll perfectly to get what I want. In the case of this build, the only thing you really need, truth be told, is this, and Ebony, or the Ebony Odogaron's power, burst boost, on your weapon. Those are the 4 pieces you need. You won't be able to hit these decoration slots without transcending it, but thanks to the fact that it's Ebony Odogaron, really easy to farm, doesn't require too much effort, you just need the gems, okay? Big thing for RNG is just going to be getting the Ebony Odogaron's power on your weapon. If you can do that, you're in a good spot. The reason you're in a good spot is because you will have burst boost level 2, and you'll have guts. If you can get both of those, great. You are going to min-max the damage. If you can't, that's okay. You don't need to min-max everything, I promise. I promise. Okay? I even have some builds that are just, they're dead in the water right now, and that's because I haven't been able to min-max them to a better point. In fact, I have one build that I'm literally waiting on just rolling Gormagala's Tyranny on the weapon that I just haven't gotten. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go to the side for a little bit. Okay. The reason we are rocking it like this is because burst boost is insanely good, especially on hunting horn, just like it is on gunlance, because it's so easy to have burst boost stay active. Not to mention, because we are playing around the focal point of our echo bubbles, we get to take advantage of burst boost naturally. Echo bubbles you want to be placing near the monster, where the monster may be running to, where your team is running to. That way everybody gets those bonuses. Not to mention, it hits the monster for more. So, we've gone over the weapon, we've gone over the armor. Talisman is just my attack boost item prolonger. Truth be told, the only thing you need here is attack boost. If you have a lower tier, lower rarity attack boost charm, use it. If you have something with Divine Blessing and you want to use that, use it. It does not matter. The charm does not apply here. This just happens to be my good charm that I use to increase my damage a little bit more. Okay? So, as far as our decorations go, you can see I have a couple empty slots. The reason I have these empty slots is because I didn't need them. I left them empty because anybody can put anything here. With the addition of Arch-Tempered Jin Dahad, I noticed that there was a lot of people that were complaining about his freeze mechanic. Well, the freeze mechanic you can kind of get around by just putting on a bind resistance. Meaning, you can put it here. Maybe you're sitting there fighting Sergios because you want to transcend his armor. Bleed resistance. Maybe you don't want to get stunned. Steadfast. Stun resistance. You can put whatever you want here, because I already put in Divine Blessing, which means you can use whatever you want. The big thing is going to be the rest of the decoration slots. These empty ones, these 2 protection jewels, you can alternate them for anything. For me, at least, that's what I decided it was more valuable. Well, you want to make sure that you have Foray maxed out. The reason you want Foray maxed out is because you want the best bonus when the monster is poisoned. So, attack plus 15, affinity plus 20%. All right. Now that we have Foray maxed out, we're going to go ahead and do Challenger. The reason we do Challenger is because we already have a couple of pieces that have it naturally, meaning we're able to, I say a couple of pieces, I mean the Greaves. Because the Greaves have Challenger, we are able to actually max out Agitator. Not to mention, because we are playing a poison build, we don't get to take full advantage of crit boost because we need to be using our crit boost decorations for the venom and the poison ups, okay? After all of that, what ends up happening is you get poison attack maxed out. Poison buildup happens 20% faster. You get a plus 50 bonus. So if you roll your weapon towards element, you are able to take full advantage of that poison and get a ton of it. You can see here, mine is a poison element focused with sharpness, element, attack, element, element. This is what I would roll for you. Because we are on the element focus, not the attack focus, you do not have a negative affinity sitting there, meaning go for more damage. If you can, I would say 4 element would probably be good with 1 sharpness. I didn't get that. I got the attack boost. Beggars can't be choosers, and I wasn't going to complain. That's still a great roll. It's not the upper echelon of the top 0.1%. Whatever, okay? Truth be told, unless you're speedrunning, you shouldn't care about it either. All right. Next up, poison duration up. This is a big one and a requirement. The reason for this is going to make poison last 20% longer on your fights, giving you more foray, okay? Last but not least, you have the Sonora's Handicraft. This is just because Horn Maestro is really, really nice, and Handicraft is going to give us a little edge on top. All of these things together is a wonderful combo that gives you 256 raw attack and 674 poison. Now, normally, you wouldn't think anything of that. You would see poison and you go, okay, whatever. Truth be told, though, when you include everything that we've got, okay, Agitator, plus 20 raw. We're at 296 now. Foray, once the monster's poisoned, we get you an additional 15. We'll call it 310. Now include Burst boost, we are going to get an even bigger bonus. So, plus the Lord's Soul Guts. With everything together, you are going to get a lot of raw attack bonuses. That really starts stacking up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do our status attack up, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. We'll go ahead and play another Echo Bubble. And now we have 3. You can see that the monster is already, or the dummy has already been poisoned. Okay? Which means now you have stun power, 768 poison element, 306 raw attack, and then on top of that, you have some crazy stun power. Not to mention offset melodies if you are choosing to use this specific type of hunting horn. The thing is there's a lot of people that are sleeping on hunting horn, and I don't blame them, but what you need to know is it is much better than everyone is giving you credit for. This hunting horn is nuts. And then on top of that, you are able to do so much damage. You can see with just these couple of beats, just these couple of Echo Bubbles, we are sitting here just building damage, taking full advantage of Foray. We have 354 raw attack with a constant stacking 15 raw damage just being applied to the monster over time. I'm telling you guys, I think Foray might be one of my new favorite skills, especially playing with random people, because you're always going to see the benefit. Because once it procs, it stays active. You can see here with my entire time talking, it just ran out. All right. Overall, ladies and gentlemen, I think this build is definitely something I'm going to end up testing with more, enjoying more. And if you have any interest in something that's still viable, still good, but maybe not 100% meta, I would seriously recommend you give this a shot. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you all for coming and watching it. Thank you all for hanging out. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe. If you guys are a fan of other games, as well as Monster Hunter like I am, don't forget that I stream most nights over on Twitch at twitch.tv/SnyperSama. I'll see all of you in the next one. Farewell. I don't ever slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you want to play tough and want to hate this, I'll always show